Tonight on NAIT NewsWatch. A U of A fraternity is under investigation.
Well, it's not very ethical to make people.
City sets a new record in spending this year.
The time, I think it's a necessary evil.
Famous singer sits down with one of our own.
Everything kind of has aligned.
NAIT NewsWatch starts right now.
Good evening. The Don't Ask, Don't Tell shrouded world of fraternities has been exposed following allegations of demeaning initiation rituals at a U of A frat house.
This has led to speculations about how these groups can affect students and raise questions about the price of membership in these exclusive campus clubs. Clarice Porca joins us live from our news center with more on that story.
A disturbing video taken earlier this year has surfaced showing what appears to be extreme hazing at the Delta Kappa Epsilon fraternity. It shows frat members abusing pledges and has led to the investigation and suspension of the frat house from the university. This video was obtained by the U of A newspaper The Gateway from an anonymous source. It was filmed in secret and does not fully show the disturbing events that allegedly happened. Hazing activities shown include students being forced to eat their own vomit, trapped in a plywood box, and sleep and water deprivation. Members of Delta Kappa Epsilon has been unavailable for comment, and most of the other university fraternities have refused to speak to us as well.
Hazing incident that occurred? No? Okay.
Some U of A students feel that these charges are creating a bad light on their school.
I think the hazing was a little extreme, and that's something you'd expect like in the US, but not in Canada.
I think that was horrible. It's not very ethical to make people eat their own vomit.
With the extent of abuse that is suggested by the videos, some experts say that it can have a lasting effect on its victim.
Hazing kind of passes on as an abusive culture. There's a culture of, well, they did it to me, so I'm going to do it to the next generation, and so forth.
U of A officials say that it's been 10 years since a student group was suspended. But University Student Life VP Rory Tai believes that one fraternity's mistake shouldn't influence students in joining fraternities.
The fraternity system in general does a lot of really amazing things for campus. They positively contribute a lot of money, volunteer hours, friendships to the community.
The university hopes the suspension of DKE will send a clear message about what is and what isn't acceptable. The Interfraternity Council has also released a statement saying that it will be aiding the university in its investigation. DKE International, which oversees all its chapters, is investigating internally.
Clarice, what are the consequences of this suspension?
Well, as this issue falls under the Student Code of Behavior, the suspension means that members of DKE won't be allowed to book U of A space, they can't use the university name or insignia, and they will not have access to U of A equipment. As well, they have lost the privilege of using university facilities to solicit membership, and their liquor and gaming license has been revoked.
How did the Gateway obtain the hazing video and information about the incident?
After the video was received and the news broke out, two more anonymous sources came forward. The first was an alleged DKE who said he was present at the January 2010 initiation. The second one was a source who confirmed that he was a pledge several years ago. He described the events as similar during his time in the fraternity.
Thanks, Clarice. That's Clarice Porca reporting live from our news center tonight.
You're watching NAIT NewsWatch, your next generation of news.
Edmonton set a new record this year that may influence your daily commute.
This was the biggest year for construction in the city. We spent over $450 million in various projects, including roads and bridges.
A main focus of this year's construction was improving road conditions, paving roadways, and revitalizing neighborhoods, which is making some Edmontonians very happy.
At the time, I think it's a necessary evil. I think if we're going to become a larger city and hope to compete, we need to have better infrastructure. So I think it's just something we have to work our way through, and eventually we'll be glad that we have it.
Projects that are planned for the next 10 years include the LRT expansion, eliminating traffic lights on the Yellowhead, and replacing the Walterdale Bridge.
The race is over. Edmonton will no longer host the Indy. The city and Octane could not come up to an agreement on funding additional costs. The $5.5 million the city had agreed on for the next 3 years was not enough.
The cost reductions that we thought should be realizable, they hesitated to commit to those cost reductions. And
The city did propose moving the event from one side of the city center airport to a now closed runway, but without the $3.2 million in upgrades, it didn't meet the standard of the Indy's track layout.
We did suggest some alternatives that would have seen the racetrack cost be reduced to about $2.1 million.
City Councillor Kim Krischel said that the council has done everything they can to keep the Indy in Edmonton.
Spending more money on something that we're continuing to see losses on, I couldn't support.
Octane still doesn't know where the Indy will take place in 2011. Physical injuries and emotional pain have a new meaning this November.
Some Edmontonians are using their past to move forward in our community. The City of Edmonton proclaimed November as Family Violence Prevention Month. Using art and youth's emotional stories, the goal is to raise awareness and break the cycle of abuse in families.
The cycle really does go on, and it really is passed down from generation to generation. I really don't want to be that person.
Roots, an emotional skit portraying domestic violence through the eyes of a 15-year-old, show the true impact of abuse. Get out of here! The City and Edmonton Police Services are using education counseling and intervention teams to reduce reports of family violence, which total over 6,500 per year.
With the holidays approaching, the Edmonton Police Service is reminding drivers it's better to be safe than sorry. The EPS kicked off its Christmas Check Stop campaign this week. So far in 2010, there have been approximately 1,500 people charged with impaired driving in Edmonton. Police want to remind drivers that the decision to not drink and drive should be made before consuming alcohol, not after.
We'll continue using it as long as we can, and with the tools available to us through legislation to do what we can to reduce impaired driving.
Police also encourage the public to call 911 if a potential impaired driver is spotted.
An antibiotic used to treat acne may have a new purpose. A study at the University of Alberta has found that it may help stop one of Canada's top killers. A drug that has been around for over 50 years may solve a problem directly linked to heart disease.
That if it ever were to come to be used for treating people with heart disease, that it would be safe and well tolerated.
Schultz found that a crucial protein that contributes to filling and pumping the heart is being cut into pieces by an MMP2 molecule. Researchers say an antibiotic commonly used for acne could stop this. Additional benefits were also found in the existing drug.
It may be beneficial in preventing, it could reduce the risk of heart attacks.
Although the news seems promising, researchers say there are still more tests to be done.
Over 200 high school students paddled their way to NAIT this week for a Wet and Wild event. Armed with duct tape, cardboard, and inventive ideas, Edmonton students participated in Canada's Skills, Trade, and Technology Week. The students had to construct a boat that would carry at least 3 people and float. ME Lizard student Tyler Clark thoroughly enjoyed the experience.
It's awesome. I was so scared going into it, but yeah, it felt great. I thought they pulled away at the beginning, and then I just kind of motored on by them.
Skilled Trades and Technology Week helps provide young Canadians a peek into what career options are available. For a full list, visit skillscanada.com.
With the year's busiest shopping season kicking off, many local businesses are hoping Edmontonians will think before they buy. This past Monday was the start of Shop Local First Month.
I proclaim November 2010 as Shop Local First Month in Edmonton, Alberta.
The campaign kickoff showcased many local businesses in hopes of increasing awareness for local shopping.
When you spend your money in a local business, that money works harder for our community. I know that local businesses preserve and enhance community character, reduce environmental impacts, and help diversify our economy.
People who attended the event were able to hear from Edmonton business owners about the impact their dollar makes in the community. Statistics have shown that a dollar spent locally has 3 times the economic benefit than that of a dollar spent at a non-local store.
But the awareness of how important it is
to support our independent businesses motivates me to break out of old habits and seek out new places to shop.
Shop Local First Month takes place throughout November. For a list of Edmonton's independent businesses, visit live-local.ca.
We're about to be 10 years.
Coming up after the break, a common student accessory that could have a painful cost.
We tell you how you can prevent the aches and pains of carrying a backpack.
Fit and comfort, okay? It's got to fit you, it's got to feel comfortable. And
one of Canada's top singer-songwriters makes a stop in Edmonton.
Aligned and has given me this amazing positive push.
Coming up in sports. Oh.
Ali tries out boxing.
Well, I must say it's been great being outside this week.
I know, I'm pretty sure last year I was wearing my winter coat at this time. Ryan Flaherty joins us now with weather. Ryan?
Yes, it is absolutely gorgeous out here right now. In fact, if it wasn't for the cold breeze that's blowing, you'd be hard-pressed to convince me that it wasn't actually early October instead of early November. Let's now take a look at the forecast for Monday around Alberta. In Calgary, it's going to be snow potentially in the forecast, 60% chance in fact, a high of 3 degrees and a low of -1. Moving to the mountains with for Jasper, scattered flurries, a 30% chance, a high of just 1 degree and a low of -5. Up north in Fort McMurray, there is going to be nothing but sunny skies for you folks, a high of 4 degrees and a low of -3. No chance whatsoever of precipitation there. And back here in Edmonton, a 30% chance of some flurries. It's going to be mainly cloudy, a high of 6 degrees and a low of -3. The average temperature for this time of year is 1 degree, so as you can see, it's still a little bit above seasonal. The record high back in 1929 was 18 degrees on this date. The record low, we reached that in 1902, and it was a bone-chilling -30.
Weather sponsored by NR92.com, the station for the students.
So as you can see, the warm, well, not warm, but above seasonal weather, we should say, is still holding on for a few more days, but it looks like it is going to cool off moving later in the week. So I think you're going to have to haul that winter coat out after all. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news.
Well, I sure hope it does stay warm next week because it is my birthday.
Oh, exciting.
Thanks, Ryan.
Some students may want to rethink what they put into their backpacks.
Carrying too much may cause serious injuries. Ashley Nickel has more.
A backpack is an essential school item. However, many load them with too many textbooks and school supplies, not realizing the long-term damage they are causing to themselves. Kyle Nannon tells us why we should be cautious and the effects it could have on our backs.
It can get very severe if you wear it for a long time, for a couple of years. You know, if you're going to university after you go to NAIT, or you use a backpack at work, is you can actually change the curvature of your back.
The possibility of what could happen when carrying a heavy backpack hasn't influenced students to change their ways.
Yeah, no, I'll be fine with it, I guess. It's never bugged me before, so.
After knowing what heavy backpacks could do to your back, we meet Greg Stiles, who teaches us what to look for when choosing a backpack. Greg, what are some good pointers to know when going out to a store and finding the right backpack to use?
it won't surprise you to learn that everything is about fit and comfort, okay? It's got to fit you, it's got to feel comfortable. And the bigger the load gets, the more important that gets.
Greg says it's a good idea to be measured to help find the right size of backpack and suspension system that fits the length of your back. Making sure the middle of the waist strap will sit parallel to the top of your hip bone. This will distribute the weight evenly from your shoulders to your hips to protect the curve of your back.
Oh, that brings it.
What a difference.
Now with sports. So Ellie, I hear soccer nationals are coming up.
Yeah, isn't NAIT hosting it this year?
That's right, NAIT Ooks are gearing up for the games, and I'll tell you more up in sports. The men's Ooks are going to the soccer nationals hosted here in Edmonton. After winning the ACAC champion with a 7-win and a 3-loss record, the Ooks have their eyes set on a much larger prize. Even though the Ooks are hosting this year's tournament, they'll definitely earn their shot at the national championship. There are a total of 6 teams gunning for gold, including fellow ACAC team Mount Royal College, who has proven to be quite the competition. For some of the Ooks, this will be their last chance of becoming champions.
It's a dream come true. I mean, ever since I was there in 2005, that was my first year. I wanted to go back, I wanted to win it. Once you get the taste, it never really goes away, right? You just need to kind of satisfy the appetite, so it'd be huge to win it this year.
Soccer Nationals run from November 10th through November 13th at Fuhrer Sports Field in Spruce Grove. The weather this year has been very kind to Edmontonians, so what does one do when it's nice out in November? Go golfing. Normally, most golf courses will be closed by November, but Lewis Estates Golf Course will stay open until the greens turn white. Avid golfers are enjoying one of the last outings they'll get this season, and despite some heavy winds, the players will still come out and tee off. Lewis Estates has reached a huge peak of business due to a high number of bookings they received. The longer the snow stays away, the more opportunities golfers have on the fairways.
When we open up first in April, we get pretty busy because a lot of courses are not quite open yet. And then when we shut down, there's still a lot of courses that, you know, are closed and we're still going. So, yeah, it's busy.
Golfing in November, what a sight. Edmonton Rush general manager and head coach Derek Keenan announced in late October the signing of 3 players for the 2011 National Lacrosse League season. Ian Hawksby and Andy Secor, both integral pieces of the Rush defense, are back for another season. Jared Toll, the team's 2010 draft pick, agreed to join the Rush in his first pro contract. The season starts for the Rush January 8th, where they head off to face the Toronto Rock. To purchase tickets, visit www.edmontonrush.com. The State Trojans paid a visit to Edmonton, where they butted heads in a fast-paced game of women's hockey. The Ooks line up on the ice to face off with the Trojans. First period starts up. Sherry Bowles taking the first face off of the game, fighting fiercely for the puck. Early on in the game, Gabrielle Pellin picks up a stray State pass to complete the first goal of the game. The Trojans are now starting to put pressure on against the Ooks, but the Ooks keep on saving. End of the first period, 1-0 for the Ooks. Second period starts up, and it looks like they caught a pop fly, the goalie did. Soon enough, the team gets involved in a messy scramble in front of State's goalie, trying to take possession of the puck. State takes it and almost sinks one in. 2 minutes left in the game, in the period, and a second one-on-one, State takes a score on tying up the game. Third period now, and there's a lot of back and forth. Ooks have the puck and try to score, but blocked by State. Here come the Ooks in the last 15 seconds of the game and scores a bomb against State. The Ooks take the game 2-1 in a tedious game of cat and mouse. This week in End Zone Challenge, let's see, I take a jab what it likes to box. Let's see if being named after the greatest boxer helped my cause.
Avenue Boxing was gracious enough to let me come in and train on the basics of boxing. The most important aspect in boxing is your cardio. This helps you keep a breath in tough pinches, which works wonders during a match. First off, Roland told me I had to jump rope for 4 rounds of 2 minutes each. I'll admit, I'm not the most gracious skipper in the world, but I tried my hardest and managed to achieve a personal record of 52 hops in a row. Along with skipping rope, I had to practice my stance and never let my feet cross each other. Next up, Roland showed me how to do a proper jab. A jab is used to fend off your opponent and size them up for a strong right hand. I had to implement this technique with my stance in order to move on to the next step. Finally, I get my wraps. These wraps help prevent broken knuckles and hand bones when punching an opponent. I was then taught how to throw a strong right hand after sizing an opponent with a jab. The strong right hand is what gets the damage done, so perfecting my technique will surely give me more presence in the ring. It's time to test out my punching techniques. That in itself was quite the workout. However, I'm not done yet. Roland just informed me that I'm going in the ring to spar with someone at the gym. I didn't exactly know how I felt about this for 2 reasons. 1, I didn't think I was ready, and 2, well, I was sparring with a girl named Alana. Let's just say that this was her holding back, and I certainly got put into my place.
All right, that's it for End Zone Challenge. I'm gonna let the 10 count go. I'm all use of reporting.
Wow, Lee, looks like you really got beat up there.
And by a girl. Were you actually crying there?
Well, it's a natural reaction in the human body. When you get hit in the nose, you start tearing up, but yeah, a little bit I was.
Thanks, Ellie. Coming up after the break, students compete for a piece of the spotlight.
Find out if the next top model could be right here at NAIT.
I've not really done anything like this before, so I'm definitely really stoked. Hi, I'm Chantal Kreviazik, and I'll be talking about my show with the Edmonton Symphony after the break.
Hair provided for NAIT NewsWatch by Carrie L. Salon and Spa.
This week, Kirsten and I decided to do something special for some heroes in Edmonton.
With Remembrance Day coming up, we put our faith into NAIT to help us out. We started off our week by picking up our 2 boxes of poppies at the Poppy Drive head office.
Today I feel the youth of today is becoming more involved, which is really wonderful for us.
When we walked into NAIT's crowded cafeterias and hallways, it didn't take long for the donations to start pouring in. In only an hour, we had almost already raised $200. Make sure you remember to make a donation and get your poppy.
Students got a little glamorous this week.
That's right. It looks like a spin-off to a popular reality show has come to NAIT. Linda Huang has more in entertainment.
Do you have what it takes to be on top? Well, 18 ladies from NAIT think they do, and they're competing in the school's newest competition, NAIT's Next Top Model, to prove it.
You want to be on top.
Models took to the stage this week for the first photo shoot of the competition. For many who have modeled before, the hair, the makeup, and the camera flashes were familiar, but for some, it was a first-time experience.
It's really exciting. I've not really done anything like this before, so I'm definitely really stoked.
The public can vote online for their favorite models each week until a final runway show on November 24th. The winner gets a 1-year modeling contract with Blonde Talent Agency. To vote, go to naitsa.ca/models. Canadian singer-songwriter Chantal Kreviazik came to Edmonton this week. She sat down with me to talk about her latest tour, performing with a live orchestra, and what fans can expect to see from her next. Kreviazik passionately played songs spanning across her 5 albums, backed by the instrumentalists of the Edmonton Symphony Orchestra. The artist says the symphony tour was just the change she's been waiting for.
Everything kind of has aligned and has given me this amazing positive push in a direction of feeling really compelled and empowered with regard to music again.
She says the orchestra adds to the overall concert experience, and after performing to a sold-out audience at the Winspear Center, she hopes to return to Edmonton soon. And with the tour now over, Kreviazik says fans should keep their ears open for a new song she's been writing.
Joe Cocker.
It may sound a little strange, but frozen salad with sparkling vodka might be on the menu the next time you dine out. New trends emerged from the Rocky Mountain Wine and Food Festival this weekend, including new varieties of wine and experimental flavor dishes. Exhibitors say that local chefs are now beginning to experiment with culinology, which is the art of enhancing
some things that have been
altering.
popular are sparkling vodka, brand new to Alberta. There's a wine infused with chocolate. There's white whiskey, there's pink port, so there's all kinds of different things.
Exhibitors also say local chefs are now beginning to experiment with culinology, which is the art of enhancing or altering food using science. This can include powdered tomatoes, dehydrated cucumbers, and more. If you missed the event, the next festival will be held in Banff in May. Edmontonians came together this week for one of the most unique art centers in Canada. The 5th annual Cake Walk event featured a stage show, a silent auction, and elaborate cakes. It was all to raise money for the Nina Haggerty Center for the Arts, which is primarily for artists with developmental disabilities. More than 130 artists used the center, including Leona Clausen, who also got to show off one of her pieces at the event.
The center is important to me because the center brings out money for us to paying.
This year's event raised more than $25,000. It's a webcam that people lined up to get all across the continent, including here in Edmonton. The new Xbox Kinect is a motion-sensing webcam that lets users play games hands-free.
When you stand in front of the camera, you don't need any controllers. You're the controller. Like when you move your hands, you move your knees, you move your head, you move your whole body, you move.
Hundreds of gamers poured into Best Buy at this week's midnight launch to be the first to get their hands on the device.
This is worthwhile. Like it just seems a lot more interesting and more fun.
Microsoft expects to sell up to 5 million Kinects this holiday season. That's it for entertainment. Back to you, Nicole and Kirsten.
Thanks, Linda. Furry bundles of joy arrived in Capital City this past week, giving some Edmontonians a new family member.
The new arrivals were part of a unique province-to-province transfer. 15 homeless puppies from Morden, Manitoba were sent to the Edmonton Humane Society last Monday.
At this point, we're the only ones that had the room. They turned to Winnipeg. Winnipeg was not able to. They referred them to us because we had helped out Winnipeg earlier this year.
Driven by volunteers, the puppies made their way to Alberta over a 2-day trek. Within hours of the Humane Society opening, 2 of the dogs had already been adopted. To see all the puppies, as well as other animals up for adoption, visit EdmontonHumaneSociety.com. Wow, those puppies were so cute.
I know. I really, really want to go get one. I'm pretty sure, though, that my dog is cuter.
Yeah.
As terrible as that is.
I'd like to think so, too.
Oh, what about, though, that Xbox thing?
Yeah, that Xbox is so cool. I can't imagine having something actually move with me.
I know. I mean, right now I have the Wii controller, you know, so
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how I'd feel about moving. I'd probably start dancing so I can see it.
I actually heard that the Kinect is even more accurate than the Wii.
You think? I don't know, though, how it could bring up, the webcam can actually pick up your movements.
I know. It must be like a motion sensor or something.
Oh, that's all we have for you tonight.
Please check out our website, NAITnewsWatch.ca.
Have a good night.